very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much for finding time to be with us today. The show is Africa Showdown, where we get to bring you the latest happenings across the continent of Africa and get to look at specific topics in different countries. And of course, today we shall start with some conversations from Kenya. And then, as we know, that Somalia is having its elections as we speak right now. And by the end of today, they will have known who will be their next president. 39 candidates are lined up, and about 325 parliamentarians have the responsibility of selecting the next, or rather electing the next president of Somalia, but that will be on our second part of the show. But for right now, I'll take us through the headlines quickly. And we know the breaking news this afternoon: Deputy President already named his deputy who will deputize him in the oncoming elections in August, and that is Rigathi Gachagua, MP for Madeira, and that will form a huge chunk of our conversation, even as we wait to see what is happening in Azimio. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and it is a pleasure to have you on board. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching us from, as well as good morning. Okay, so first, before I bring in my panelists, I will take us through the headlines of the leading newspapers today. Of course, a lot of this news right now is stale because it has been overtaken with events, but nevertheless, I'll still go through them. The Sunday Standard, the main headline: 15-hour crisis talks put through to allies on edge. Last minute lobbying by Kithure Kindiki and Rigathi Gachagua's allies toward DP Ruto's planned announcement of his running mate, with the last word delivered late last night, promising an official decision today. And that decision has already been reached, and it has been announced to the world. Sonko ejected from Raila's Mombasa rally. Gunshot rents the air as an ugly rivalry in Azimio la Umoja played out before ODM leader when former Nairobi governor stormed his rally. The story is on page 8. Church on the Cross and political bagbites. You'll find that on the weekly review on page 19, 20, and 21. And then on the Sunday Nation, the main headline: on the horns of a dilemma. Given a chance to take back his words, Deputy President Ruto would probably swallow this one's whole. The issue of running mate is an important one, but it does not give us sleepless nights. It is the easiest of issues, he said on May 10th. And it turns out he spoke too soon. Drama and protest marked his chosen day of picking a deputy. In the end, he left the issue hanging after enduring a sleepless night. And as we were watching those events happening, when Deputy President was announcing his running mate there, it is notable to underscore that Professor Kithure Kindiki was not present during that press conference. And tough choices for Kalonzo as Raila names his deputy. Kalonzo Musyoka is walking a tightrope as Azimio presidential aspirant Raila Odinga names his running mate ahead of tomorrow's deadline set by the IEBC. Mr. Musyoka's allies say it is either him or the highway to Raila and President Kenyatta's inner circle. However, Ms. Karua is an equally good choice for Deputy President, who excites women and the Mount Kenya vote. That story is on page 6. And more pain for motorists with 5.5 Kenya shillings fuel price jump. We saw that yesterday. So that in a nutshell is what we have on the front pages of the leading newspapers this afternoon. And as I said there earlier, a lot of the story, especially as far as picking the running mate from Kenya Kwanza coalition, I think the stories we have on the papers are stale because that has been overtaken by this developing story right now. We are joined by Daniel Wesonga, our correspondent and in-house analyst from Nairobi. Daniel, a very good afternoon to you. All right, so as we wait for Daniel, we are having a bit of a technical hitch. So as we wait for Daniel to join, I think... Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much, Miriam. And of course, this is a very, very defining moment for all the political players. And one thing that comes to fore is that we can agree that everything in regards to the selection of a running mate has been a very, very difficult task, no mean feat, so to say. because you realize that even for the Azimio side, there has been a constant push and pull between the coalition players on who is the most preferred running mate for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And yesterday we saw whatever happened in Kenya Kwanza, despite the constant bragging and, chest thumping that from the Deputy President William Ruto, that for them it was quite an easy task. But you've seen how long it has taken. We anticipated that it will have happened maybe yesterday at around 10 a.m. But we went through the night until this morning, and at exactly noon is when they emerged, and they were able to announce their running mate. And like you say, we haven't been able to see even some of the contenders, like Professor Kindiki Kithure. And I believe that is because of the acrimony that the entire particular topic of choosing a running mate has brought to the coalition. So to me, I think it's a matter of wait and see. But what I would say is that perhaps this particular ticket is a very, very hard sell ticket, owing to the fact that Rigathi Gachagua is a man who is being trailed by a series of allegations in terms of corruption in Nyeri County, where his brother was a governor. And you remember during the 1 year plus where the late Nderitu Gachagua was unwell, Rigathi Gachagua was the one actually taking over the mandate of the county and he actually expunged the deputy governor from the picture in that particular leadership. So he has a lot of corruption cases in court. And William Ruto, as you know, is not a man new to controversy. So to me, I think it's going to be a hard sell ticket. It would have been much better if they would have gotten maybe Professor Kindiki Kithure. And we are more likely to see maybe the Mount Kenya East or part of the Kenya Kwanza actually maybe having a protest vote, unless maybe they move with speed and consolidate the region of Mount Kenya East, which is Meru, Tharaka Nithi, and Embu. I don't think perhaps they're going to sit pretty well, and things are going to continue as they were before. So to me, Miriam, I think I'm going to be waiting to see who Azimio la Umoja nominates to be the running mate to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and then we see how it plays out.
Mm-hmm. And of all the possible candidates that the Deputy President would have settled on, Rigathi Gachagua, is he the best for the DP to have picked of all the possible names he would have chosen from? Daniel?
Miriam, I believe politics is all about money, and if you do not have enough money to bankroll your campaign, then you might as well the ballot. You remember when John, the American presidential election at such an early age, whereas maybe some people had tried, people who have influenced, people who are with the masses. And the first strategy in politics or to win an election is to have money. The second strategy is money, and the third strategy is money. Now, look at Professor Kindiki Kithure vis-a-vis Rigathi Gachagua. Rigathi is a billionaire. He has plundered. He plundered the.
Daniel, we're having a bit of a problem with your network.
Also,
Yes.
sell fake medical equipment.
Go ahead. We're just having a bit of a technical glitch from your side. We can't get you very clearly. Your communication is catching off. So I don't know if you could find a better place, a better location, or a better that you will get.
I get me clear now. Yes. Now I was saying when you look at Rigathi Gachagua vis-a-vis Kindiki Kithure in terms of the financial muscle, then that tells you that Rigathi is a billionaire who has been bankrolling UDA campaigns across the country. And therefore, William Ruto looked at this particular dynamic. You know, they are birds of a feather. And it would have been difficult if Gachagua Gachagua would have bolted out of, because when you look at Rigathi Gachagua against Kindiki Kithure, Professor is a man of integrity somehow, but Rigathi is a man not new to controversy. You remember when he was a DO in Molo. You remember when, he has been playing politics as the PA to Uhuru Kenyatta. He is a man who is always falling out with other leaders because of controversy. So to me, I think the yardstick that William Ruto used was actually that of money. Just the same way he discarded Wangui Rishi and got the new kid on the block, Anne Waiguru, who he believed that she had some bit of money from the county and resources. Despite the fact that Wangui Rishi had been with the party for quite a long time at the beginning stages and actually helped the party to gain a foothold in Kirinyaga County. So to me, I think it's all about money, because when you look at that particular ticket in terms of integrity, in terms of even national outlook, regarding Gachagua bill, even in his own stature and charisma, is far beyond, what you would expect to be in a running mate. So I think the only reason why Professor Kindiki Kithure lost is because he does not have enough money. But otherwise, Miriam, like I told you, these are lame duck tickets. It is what I'll call the unholy alliance, because coming to the August polls, I believe Kenyans will be presented with two choices, a choice to choose between evil and good. And I believe the choices will be like light and darkness. So I don't think this was the best choice.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Daniel. And right now I'll take us to the studio.
Yeah, hard Celtic remarks.
All right, we apologize for that. We've been having a bit of a technical hitch from Daniel's side, not very good connection. Nevertheless, right now we are joined by Dr. David Matanga, who is at the headquarters of Punchline Africa, the studio. Doc, a very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Miriam. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for the delay because of a technical few difficulties. However, I'm here now, and I agree totally that this is a lame duck operation, a lame duck slot. This morning I did an analysis of the slots, and you can find that two thieves have been put together. So it is very easy to defeat thieves. Two of them, they have been put together. So what Azimio la Umoja can do, Miriam, is to find out strategies of defeating, telling Kenyans, spreading the message, and saying, here we are, we need a country tomorrow, but we don't need a shell of a country. If you bring these two brothers together, all of them are on serious charges, and two, one is very corrupt, the other one is too dangerous to be given anything in the country. Then the country has nothing to have. So I agree totally with Wesonga that is a lame duck candidature. Thank you.
Okay, all right. I think
I don't know whether there is another question you wanted to ask, but I'm now here.
No.
I've stabilized. I can also say what exactly this situation is. Miriam, for the period of almost 4 years, the Jubilee government has been told time and time again that William Ruto is using Nikolai Machiavelli's strategy to disorganize this country. It is now proved, we have been proved right by anybody watching us who has been following Matanga and the group and this television, that we have been saying that there will come a time when people will say Allah, when we are talking, what we are talking is correct. It took a lot of time last night. Ruto's mind was very fixed. He wanted someone he can control. He wanted somebody who can polish his shoes. And I don't know why intelligent people, professors, cannot see. Miriam, I want to tell you frankly that for me, Dr. Matanga, I see very far. If I know that you are going to use me, I run away. I go away. I leave. I resign. I go away. I don't want to be manipulated, be used. I just say, I have had enough. Let me go and die with my poverty. This is it was very clear from the word go that this man did not want Kindiki. And Kindiki sat there thinking that he is very liked. You remember Kindiki disappeared for some time and then resurrected after the helicopter money collecting, escapades. They went on collecting money from managing director. You remember he disappeared and then came back. Kindiki is a late comer in this mafia style of this party. Rigathi was one of the core members who hated Kenyatta's family from the core. So he went and said the Kenyatta family must be disorganized, must be dismembered, must be opposed. And you remember Mr. Moses Kuria picked up the situation. And Moses Kuria said, this is what I want us to do. Let's make sure that we poison the whole region against Uhuru Kenyatta. Now it has come out true. It has arrived here. Miriam, we are here. We can see it. It is up to His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta with the next 2 months left to hype up the support, to give the support, to give the impetus in the region, to pump in resources for campaigns, for the candidates, for Jubilee, for those who are dissatisfied. There will be a fallout here. We don't want Ruto to come with something that makes people think that he's credible. We must go in the region and start a serious campaign. Tell the truth about who is a good person and a bad person. The hatred that some of these people carry is a hatred against Raila Amolo Odinga. People have not demystified this fury in the region, and time is here for us. Some of us from now onwards, I will be talking my brain. Nobody will control my brain. I will go home if it is necessary. I've had enough of this type of, you bring in ideas, people don't listen to you. We find ourselves in the same scenario. This is a lame duck slot, but dangerous in the sense, let's see how the Western would react. Mudalia already, there are so many things. Musalia Mudavadi was not happy. He didn't, it is a very bad politics. Just as the politics of bringing a committee to panel people. Ruto also played another type of politics where you bring your heads of the parties to find out which one of the two, and you are going to work together. Running mates are always chosen in secrecy. And they are chosen in secrecy, taken away and given. The owner of, you don't publicize a running mate contest as if you are, publicizing a beauty contest of women who is beautiful, who is walking on the catwalk like Waiguru very well. No. People should stick to the qualities. If you are a political scientist, allow others who have studied economics talk about economics. Don't become an economist. At the same time, go back to become a political scientist. Then at the same time, becomes an engineer to build a road. It is going to be messy. But the choice that Ruto has taken is a very good group that you can defeat, which can be defeated very easily if Jubilee Party, ODM, and Azimio La Umoja does not divide itself into several other factions. You can defeat these guys. If we divide ourselves, let's call it a day. Thank you, Miriam.
And of course, as we all know, Gachagua has a corruption case pending in the courts. So should he go ahead and their ticket win and he becomes the next deputy president of the Republic of Kenya, will this not taint? I'm just saying, because the corruption case he has in the courts is very serious. Does this mean anything as far as, upholding the dignity of that office that he could possibly have is concerned? Should that be a concern?
It will. It will if we had not again declared that Miriam, we declared that anybody who has a case now is free to contest. This is the state of affairs we have here. Anybody who has a case is free to contest. So people are contesting. Gachagua, even if he has a case, he's free to contest. Because his case will be heard in September. Have you seen how these guys have been working? They have the money. They go to judges and say to the registrar in the registry to give their lawyers money to extend the case. If you are saying that Gachagua's case will be heard in September, then you say Asha Juma's case will be heard next year. You know, all the cases against all the people with Ruto will be heard after 8th of. Will be heard after 8th, 10th, 9th when you have voted and there is a new government. They are hoping they will win the vote. So it is up to you people. It is very interesting when you say as a case, it will dent him, but does he care? Do people in Kenya at the moment, Miriam, care? Some people in Kenya don't care whether you're a thief or not. If you look at the social media, there are very few people in Kenya left who care that thieves are very bad. There are very, very few people. Believe me or not, Miriam, you could easily be killed if you said there is a thief here and you catch the thief. I think even if you reach the police can even call you and say, who told you to catch him? We know him. Did you know that? We know him. Yeah, ako na kesi huko what do you call it? Mahakamani? Ate na kesi in court. Thank you very much.
Well, very well. So let's look at compatibility, because I think it's a very important component as far as when you look at the president and his deputy and looking at how this has played out, especially in the current administration, and looking at the character of and the kind of politics that we see the member of parliament, Rigathi Gachagua, exhibit, and what we've seen from the deputy president. They both seem to be very combative as far as their politics and the leadership style is concerned. So these are two people who are very strongly opinionated, who are very high-minded. I don't know, how do you see this working, Daniel, for this coalition? He's not here, Doc. You can take it.
They are compatible. You know why? Both of them are very dangerous people. One is a former DO, very strategically placed with resources. Compatibility, yes, they agree. One will kneel before the other. The one will listen.
Which one is that? Doc, which one will kneel? Because I think both of them are very egocentric from what we
No, there's one who kneels. There is among them, there is one who will kneel before the other.
Okay. So this is regards to the deep pockets. One has deeper pockets compared
Both
to the
of them have deeper pockets. But
Okay.
one can kneel before Ruto. The other one of Madhira can kneel before Ruto. He can't tell Ruto off. Kindiki could tell Ruto, no, this is not a good thing. But this one will tell Ruto, yes, 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 yes. Piga huyo, yes. Funga wawa, yes. Funga huyu, yes. Utaona. If they win election here, they are compatible. Compatible kabisa. Even the way they speak. The way they speak. Have you seen a photograph saying that Kachagwa is Moi's son? Did you see that photograph in the newspaper? Rigathi Kipturino. That some people there's something which is there's something which is very which I'm investigating, and Miriam, by the end of this week I think I'll find out. There's something that is making things very complicated, and I think we have to begin asking questions. Why is Gideon Moi not campaigning in Baringo? And he has never campaigned in the Rift Valley. Why? I'm an investigator, and I think I'm finding something very fishy. And I will say it. I want to say it to save my brother, my Pan-African friend. There's something very wrong here. And if we don't say it, we are going to have a mess.
Don't you think perhaps the reason why a lot of leaders have not been campaigning, especially from
Exactly.
Azimio,
Kalonzo, since they came
the stalemate,
yes,
the stalemate they're having right now over the deputy president, until that is settled, they will continue.
But since they came in Azimio, none of them has been seen on the rally along with Raila. They are not campaigning for Raila. So why should we sit together? Let them, if they want the presidency, let them try the vote and allow Raila Amolo Odinga with Kenyatta to do something. This is not a matter of death or life and death, Jermaine and Miriam. This is not. Let's not talk things like children. This is not. The two have not campaigned together with Raila. I have not found anywhere where Gideon Moi and Kalonzo came and campaigned with Raila about twice. He disappeared. He was out. Now today they are there plotting one to be the deputy as they run as independent candidates. What type of life is this in this country? Allah, let's not waste our... Ma'am, let's not waste too much of our saliva. I think this thing is, there is a mixture. The president must come in and clear this mess. You find someone has collected signatures and named someone as a running mate. So what are we trying to waste time here? They haven't. When Kalonzo was out, he was making noise. When Kalonzo was brought in, he's making noise. You get my point? So what is Raila going to do now? He was out, made the noise. He went to Mombasa, brought violence. He put a man. There is a court order in Eldoret, conservatory orders in Eldoret High Court that stopped anybody who was impeached not to get involved in any elective position. How you a lawyer, you go and appoint Sonko and put him in your party when there is a court order in Eldoret, conservatory orders 2022 in May by Katiba Institute? How? This me, I've never, you know, this Gideon, you know, have you seen Gideon in the Rift Valley? Have you seen Gideon campaigning in the Rift Valley? He should be campaigning in the Rift Valley against.
So, Doc, listening to you, here is what I'm hearing you to be saying, that true, Gideon Moy, yes, I've not seen him
He's
campaigning.
playing a game here. And we are not going to keep quiet. I know him for a long time. I know him for a long time. And we are going to expose this. Let President Uhuru Kenyatta take it up from me. Let me be responsible and be killed. But he's not going to play us games. He's not playing. He's not campaigning.
So as we learned on Friday, that a Wiper leader has collected signatures. So what I'm hearing you to be saying is that Gideon Moy could be his
yes.
proposed deputy, or what?
Yes.
Okay.
Then why do we hide here? All of us studied intelligence from far. Some of us were in intelligence schools before. Tuambiwane ukweli. Allah. These people are confusing the president here. And the confusion is coming from those two gentlemen. Musalia was with them. They allowed him to go. Moi came and said he has gone, we go on. That guy there, Gideon Moi, he's not campaigning in Baringo. He's not campaigning anywhere. Where is he campaigning? In his region. Surely you are helping in person and you are not campaigning. Have you done a deal? Go! Yes. Raila, please listen to me. Mimi, there's something wrong here, which we must expose. And for me, I will expose it. Trust me 100%. Let the president hear about it. Because there are some meetings taking place. And you hear these meetings are taking place at night. And therefore then they come and they're done. Why are they? This Mr. Kalonzo was saying he wants to be recognized. They recognize him. When he was out, he was making noise. When he's in, he's making noise. He said the document is there. The document is lost. Oh, this one is halfway. I didn't see this. These two people have a plan with Ruto. Especially this Gideon, has a plan with Ruto. Wacha niambiane ukweli. They are going to confuse this country to chaos. People are protecting their interests. Yet the natives are going to hand over people have brainwashed everybody. So what do you expect me to say, to sit here all the time and I die on the microphone? Aye? I'm sorry, Miriam. But I've said, you have heard something that I've said. I'm honest. The two guys have a problem. And all of us are in their age. Gideon is a very young kid. I am not bothered about him, kid, because I saw the world before he saw. So it doesn't worry me. Yes, none of this worries me. Nobody. I can be poor, but you cannot worry me because you have money and you go on confusing people. You see, who is funding Miriam? Who is funding Kalonzo? It is Gideon. Kalonzo has no money. So Gideon controls Kalonzo. What is he telling Kalonzo? Why is he not campaigning? Why is he not holding a rally? Even people are killing people in Baringo. Why is he not there? Yeah.
Talked about it on Friday, where There is a possibility of, if Kalonzo Musyoka is not picked as the deputy president for the Azimio coalition, he has already collected some signatures, so he will go ahead and stand as a presidential candidate. And according to the story we were reading here on Friday, they want to deny Raila the votes from Mukambani. So that might create a crisis that might, perhaps force the country to go for a runoff for the two contenders. So one would wonder, is it a selfish move, or Kalonzo is just being strategic in this regard? I don't know if Daniel, you're present.
Daniel cannot be present.
Okay.
Daniel is a
yes, but he's here. He's actually part of, but he's just not. But he's there.
Daniel is part of Kanu, so he won't say much about his Kanu. Daniel, let's hear your views.
He's not there. He's there but not there. But go ahead, Doc. The crisis, perhaps, Wiper is seeking to create. Is it selfish, or he's just being strategic?
He's not strategic. He's just being very selfish. Well, all you can say is both. He's selfish and at the same time strategic, that in case they fail, then I will come up in the middle and be watermelon, stand and say, I told you I'm here now. Now Raila come and give me the money before I give you my votes, and tell Kamba to vote you, to add on your votes you have gained. That's what he wants to do. Like he did in 2007, went to Kibaki. With Waki, they created these ICC things. I know a lot of things, you Kenyans. I think, let me tell you, let the president handle it. I respect him, the team handle it. And for me, David Matsanga, I'm sorry. Let's shift to another issue of Somalia. If you don't mind, Miriam.
All right, okay. And from where I'm sitting, I can see that there's a rally at Kamukunji grounds is underway. Raila, Martha Karua, and other leaders just arrived there moments ago. And I had the caravan pass just where I am a couple of minutes ago. And so we'll be looking to see if at all they'll also make their big announcement today. Do you think they'll also name, or we just move on to the matters?
I think we just bring in the...
Sorry, Miriam, my connection was a bit down. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Miriam. And I've been listening to Dr. Matsanga. And just like I said in the beginning, is that this is a very, very easy now ticket for Azimio to actually beat very early in the morning. And all we have to do as Azimio now is to get the right candidate for the running mate, for the right Honorable Raila Odinga. And by 8 a.m., Raila Odinga will have been sworn into office. So to me, I think this is a ticket which is formed up by two corrupt individuals. And these are very, very corrupt individuals to the core. These are very, very suspicious billionaires. Rigathi Gachagua, the biggest position he ever held in government, apart from being an MP, is just being a DO in Molo. And how did he make his billions? William Ruto, the biggest position actually has ever held in government, is being a deputy president, what he is right now. He is a billionaire. How did he make his billions? Kalonzo Musyoka has been a vice president for 5 years. Why is he not a billionaire like William Ruto? We have so many other individuals who have been in the same office but are not billionaires who ride 5 choppers and, move around with SUVs that actually range between 40 million and above. So I think, Miriam, it will be so easy because these, for the first time at least in the history of Kenya, we are going to have a ticket of thugs and thieves against the ticket of reformists on the other side. You know what President Uhuru Kenyatta stands for, you know what Raila Odinga stands for, and the entire Azimio team. But we know what other this group stands for. And for a deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua still has corruption cases pending in court. He still has another case of alleged murder of the late Governor Nderitu Muriithi, together with the current governor of Nyeri, Mutahi Kahiga. they are being accused, and there is investigation ongoing right now in that particular case of whether there is an alleged assassination of the late governor. He's called Gakuru. Yeah. So Miriam, I think these are individuals who are going to struggle even to campaign for the amongst the Kenyan people because of who they are, and Kenyans know them. If they are given this country to govern this country, I believe Kenya will be looted to its knees before we even realize whatever kind of mess that we are getting ourselves into. So I think, Miriam, just like Dr. Masanga said, this is a ticket which is bound to fail. This is a ticket which is innately and so much rooted in corruption. And if Kenyans will open their eyes quite well, they should not even be allowed to get even 40% of the total votes cast in the presidential election. So to me, I think it makes even work easier for Azimio team, because campaigning against these thugs and corrupt individuals is easier rather than maybe campaigning with one corrupt individual whose running mate maybe is a bit not so much implicated in corruption. So this one gives Kenyans to actually vote against them and send them home together, so that they can be able to retire peacefully. And there's one thing that you mentioned, that Rigathi Gachagua is actually combative as William Ruto. I know William Ruto wouldn't have wished to have Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate. And over time and again, William Ruto has always maybe insinuated that he does not want a deputy president who is like himself, a deputy president who is very much ambitious, a deputy president who is combative, a deputy president who would want to compete and set up another center of power like William Ruto is doing to President Uhuru Kenyatta. But the dynamic shift came in when he realized that he is left with few options between choosing someone who is of integrity and does not have money, and choosing a thug like him but has money. And at the end of the day, it is like money won. And that is what actually guides the politics of William Ruto. It is all about money. There was a time I was having a discussion with one friend of mine, and we were talking about how William Ruto is always enlisting and talking about the projects of the Jubilee government. But later on, we realized that the only reason why William Ruto knows each and every project that has been undertaken by the Jubilee administration is because he has been taking kickbacks from these projects, and therefore he knows each and every project that has been done in every corner of this country, because before the president became firm on corruption, he was taking kickbacks from these projects. So therefore, sometimes he uses these to bring Kenyans maybe drawing a perception as if he has been so much involved in the development and the delivery of the legacy projects. But the reality of the matter is that he is not part of the legacy project. And if he is part of the legacy project, then his part was that of taking kickbacks, frustrating developers and investors, and actually striking corruption deals in those projects and tenders. So that is the reality of the matter, Miriam. If you're going to have these guys on the ticket and Kenyans actually elect them, then we might as well forget about this country, because we would have auctioned this country to thieves, knaves, and murderers and all corrupt individuals, the merchants of impunity and corruption, and people who operate outside the rule of law. So I think this is an easy ticket to defeat, and I know very soon the scale is going to start tipping and shifting. People who are in Kenya Kwanza, who are with integrity, people who are very reasonable and sensible, people who are gentlemen, who had lost way and strayed into Kenya Kwanza, are going to reconsider their support. I know very soon you're going to see some defections happening from Kenya Kwanza. And it's just a matter of time, Miriam. I submit.
Okay. Thank you so much, Daniel, for that. So we move on to our next topic, and that is the elections in Somalia. And by the end of today, Somalis should know their next president. But this long-delayed vote only involves about 325 members of parliament and takes place in a very heavily fortified area. The unusual circumstances highlight Somalia's security issues, as well as the lack of democratic accountable. So the capital, Mogadishu, is on a lockdown until Monday morning. Doc.
Yes. Thank you very much. First of all, I'm very pleased that Somalia is holding elections. As one of the few people who has actually been critical about the current government, about Farimajo being an expansionist, wanting to create chaos in the region. And as one of those who has been saying from 1991, when the first refugees found me in London, when Somalia fell in 1991, they came, found me there, Miriam. I have about 90 to 93 people, MPs, who returned to Somalia and went to take up posts in the parliament. I've been in touch with some of them. But I've discovered one thing that is very interesting, that there is a lot of external influence that has come on these elections. Everybody whom I'm talking to in Mogadishu is talking of money. Money in dollars, in huge amounts of money being paid, exchanging hands. So at the end of the day, whichever way it goes, the election will be marred with irregularities of voter bribery, since this is not a universal suffrage, is a college. They have formed a college of MPs on the Senate and the lower house and the upper house. So they are choosing the first round, the second round, and then final. However, my candidate in this, Miriam, I don't want to lie to you. My candidate is Sharif Ahmed Sharif. Whether he wins or he loses, to me, he remains the best person who has ever tried to bring Somalia to stability. And therefore, I urge Somali MPs, most of them whom my friends have spoken to. Unfortunately, I don't have huge money like Turkey. Turkey has had huge money. Countries, Turkey, Qatar, they have poured in huge amounts of money on the side of Farimajo against other candidates who don't have the money at all. The choice of Farimajo is very bad for me, for us, not only for me, but for the region, because he will continue with his expansionist, militaristic approach, that he wants a nationalistic sort of state called Somalia, which can create more problems in the future, that other tribes are not included. You remember Somali troops went up to Ethiopia and slaughtered so many people. They were found there, and about 300 of them were killed by Eritrean, by Tigrayan forces. Remember the question of the borders, maritime border dispute between Kenya and Somalia. It has not been resolved. The new prime minister tried, the old prime minister brought the problem. Hassan Harye and Robbie tried to solve, to cool down. If you elect again Farimajo, the problem will come. Kenya will have this problem. I think we shall have enough time tomorrow in our diplomatic leaks after the results have come to analyze the outcome of these results. But I'm having one-in-one touch. Tomorrow our Mogadishu correspondent will be online on video link. Unfortunately, our video just had a problem, but tomorrow it will be in link, and they will be voting right from. They will be reporting live from Mogadishu about the results. I'm also in touch with some United Nations officials who are on the ground, and as you know, it is down to. It is a curfew up to dawn, 6 a.m. in the morning, where you cannot move, and most of the people are indoors. There are few people, but I have friends, MPs, whom I'm calling who are there British. Some of them have, all of them have no passports. They have British passports anyway. So they lost a state. I've been talking to 1 or 2, 3 of them to find out what is going on inside. And tomorrow, Miriam, I'll have enough information to give to you during the course of your shows of diaspora dispatches and the diplomatic leaks.
Okay, Daniel, perhaps your thoughts on the elections that is underway. We do have 35 candidates who have lined up to be, elected today. What's at stake here as far as the elections in Somalia is concerned?
Miriam, the stake is a better leadership for Somalia, and as far as you can remember, we've been on this particular platform. Dr. Masanga has been talking over and over again the kind of retrogression and the kind of backwardness and backpedaling that President Mohamed Farmajo and his cronies have brought to Somalia. In as much as the previous regimes have been trying to get the country out of the ravages of the war and start to rebuild the country and reconstruct it towards peace and stability, President Mohamed Farmajo and his cronies have been working day and night to make sure that the country goes back to where his uncle, the late president of Somalia, who was
Siad Barre.
Left the country in 1991 in chaos, and that is what his nephew, President Mohamed Farmajo, has been trying to do. And therefore, whatever is at stake here, whatever that is at the core of the hearts of the people of Somalia, is to get a better leadership. And a better leadership means that we get another person who does not have any links with Farmajo, and we get another person who is not Farmajo himself to be able to take up the leadership mantle in Somalia and be able to lead the country into the right direction that its neighbors here in Kenya, the neighbors in Uganda, the neighbors in Ethiopia, the neighbors in Tanzania, East Africa, and the rest of the African continent wish the country to be. Remember, Somalia is a very, very strategic country in terms of even trade, security, and industry. You remember the port of Mogadishu, and Kismayo. They have been there for ages, and during even the Ottoman Empire, during the olden days, even during the biblical days, that was the port that used to connect the Middle East and Asia and the parts of Europe. So that tells you that it was a very, very important trade route, in that if we can be able to bring peace, tranquility, and stability in Somalia, so that movements of goods and services through the Cape of Good Hope, and all the way to Egypt, Cairo, all the way to the Suez Canal and into Europe and other parts of the world, it will actually grow the economy of Somalia. And Somalia being part of Africa, the African continent will be able to share the prosperity that cometh out of that kind of integration. So I think, Miriam, what we need to do is actually pray and hope that the people of Somalia will be wise enough to be able to elect a leader who shall be able to take up the leadership mantle from President Mohamed Farmajo and be able to propel the country into better horizons. Because as Dr. Masanga has always put it here, President Mohamed Farmajo is the worst thing that ever happened to the Federal Republic of Somalia, because he has been occasioning perpetual stealing of the resources of the people of Somalia. He has been reintegrating Al-Shabaab back into the security operators of the country, whereas Kenya and other African countries have, through AMISOM, given their troops to go into Somalia and be able to combat the menace of piracy, the menace of Al-Shabaab, and be able to bring stability. But all these have been downtrodden by and backpedaled by the poor leadership of President Mohamed Farmajo, who, ironically, Miriam, wants to cling to leadership in Villa Somalia by using unorthodox and uncouth ways of bringing constitutional crisis, sabotaging the prime minister, sabotaging any government leader who is of the opinion that Somalia should have elections and be able to progress ahead and be able to look and focus on reconstruction and bringing back peace and tranquility. So, Miriam, I think this is a moment of reckoning for the people of Somalia, and I believe and I hope that they are going to make the right choice. They are going to elect a man who is going to propel the country into proper leadership, a man who will be guided by the principles and be able to take up the legacy of the previous leaders of Somalia who are able to bring Somalia out of complete conflict and were able to make sure that the country actually achieves the current kind of tranquility that we are seeing today. So therefore, Miriam, my hope today, my hope today as the vote continues in Somalia is that we are going to see a change in leadership in Somalia, a change that will make sure that we do not have the likes of plunderers, the likes of people who do not wish the country well, like Mohamed Farmajo regaining power, or even his closest cronies, who I know will be part of the so many aspirants that are vying. In that maybe if the seat does not go to Farmajo, he has positioned someone else, maybe to interfere with the elections or maybe to juggle up the numbers. That should not happen. I believe the people of Somalia, at the end of the day, must get the victory they deserve so that they get the leadership that will be able to work for them, another leadership that will send them into slavery and servitude that has been brought about by Mohamed Farmajo. I submit.
Yes, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Daniel. And that brings us to our third and final topic, and that is on Sri Lanka. It's wars and chaos, and it appears Sri Lanka is in a lot of economic chaos as we speak right now. So perhaps, Doc, you could start the conversation for us.
First of all, before we begin world news, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate my team, Liverpool, for having won the finals yesterday by beating Chelsea 6-5. Thank you very much. I've been a supporter of Liverpool for 46 years now, and I think Wesonga might be actually running down the bed as I speak now because he's a Chelsea supporter. And
I'm a Liverpool diehard now.
Oh, you changed. You can't be a diehard. You're a new member, but you are welcome. You are welcome, and my team did very well yesterday, and you can see from the back page of the Sunday Nation, we got the cup. Now 2 or 3 of them. Europe were bad news. We are waiting for the European one, isn't it? Which I think there's one for Europe. Oh, we have finished. I don't know how many, but here we are. Thank you very much. Now, Miriam, coming back to the question of Sri Lanka. A regime change mechanism has been pumped into Asia. I don't know where we are, but it looks like. Are we still there? Miriam, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. A regime change mechanism has been pumped in Asia. In Asia, somewhere around Asia, in those parts, in Sri Lanka, around India, around Pakistan, and some states there, Nepal, there is a mechanism of an American regime change. First of all, when Sri Lanka took the loans from China, as you are aware, Sri Lanka is a Commonwealth country. It depends on the West, the Western nations, especially Britain. If you go to United Kingdom, the biggest number of refugees come from Sri Lanka. Most of those who have those shops, they own shops. They are all in UK. The biggest problem now came when Sri Lanka turned its side towards China and obtained, because they were not having enough money in the loans being given on conditions. China came in and built up the port, built up the infrastructure after the war. You remember the Tiger rebels, those ones, TPLOA, something like that. The Tiger rebels of Sri Lanka who wanted to topple the government. They fought a bitter war, worse war, a dangerous war that had killed millions of people. But when they came out of that, they needed help, but help was not coming. So they decided to look the other way. But is this, if you look at the New York Times, there's an article, unfortunately my phone has died. Miriam, I think you have that article. You can see from the article of New York Times that there is a specific regime change mechanism that has been placed around the Indian enclave, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and India itself. Because India came out, Bangladesh came out, Sri Lanka came out and supported, abstained on the question of Ukraine. So some countries are now being, penalized for having been able, having refused to support America in the United Nations Security Council. One of the countries that collapsed is Pakistan. The Prime Minister was very categorical. He said we can't get involved in a war that we cannot. And therefore, you can see the dynamics of regime change sponsored from another quarter which is not in the region. So when the uprisings of high prices, petrol prices, food prices, no food, it has caused anarchy on the streets of Colombo and the other cities in the peninsula. So if we have a problem here, Miriam, a regime change of mechanism of violent regime change has been growing slowly around the Indian enclave of the Indian subcontinent. And therefore, it could be one of the areas to destabilize. We thought that when America left Afghanistan, they would find a way to rescue those Afghans that were left behind, but they didn't. They left them to be slaughtered in the hands of the guys that they were fighting before. So we saw Pakistan falling. The Indian government is also very strong, and fortunately it has a strong base of democracy that you cannot force the streets. But Sri Lanka is volatile because of the tribal, the north and the south, those who have allegiance to India and those who have allegiance to other parts. So you have a government that cannot stay in power for a long time. So the ruling family also, we have seen one ruling family in the Philippines regaining the authority that their fathers had times ago. You never know. There was a lady of Sri Lanka was known as, what was the old name for Sri Lanka? Ceylon. The Prime Minister of Ceylon. Sri Lanka was formerly known as Ceylon. During those days, it was one of the most the tea growing area. We grew up when we had to cram all those things in geography. Rubber was Liberia, coffee was Brazil, tea was Ceylon, Arabica coffee was Uganda. Uganda was mentioned all the time in the geography books. So Ceylon and the capital Colombo belonged to a dynasty. The lady there was called Abaram. The name is very complicated. Medium is usually, you are very good at mentioning the names. banana something. I know the Prime Minister of East Pakistan and the West Pakistan, Bangladesh, was Sir Mujib Rahman, the first Prime Minister who was assassinated. Then I know Zulfikar Bhutto, Ali Bhutto, also was assassinated by General Khan. Then we have the.
Sorry, do you mean if I can remember her name, is it Chandrika Kumaratunga?
No, that Kumaratunga came in. That is also the family. It's another dynasty family. But there is the first Prime Minister. You can Google that one for me, Wesonga. The first Prime Minister of after Ceylon getting independence from Britain in 1960 something, 62 or something like that. There was a Prime Minister there, very powerful lady. And she was non-aligned with, there were 3 ladies in the world who were rocking the world. One was Golda Meir, that lady, and then the other one, the third lady was Indira Gandhi.
Is it Siri Marvels?
Exactly, that's the one. Okay. That's the first lady. Then the family in Bangladesh. So you can see the politics of that region is India calls shots, is the biggest superpower there. Even the war in Sri Lanka was as a result of the Indian interference. You remember Gandhi, Shajiv Gandhi was killed in Sri Lanka when he was addressing a rally. A bomb was put under his platform. He was killed. One of the last sons of the Gandhi dynasty. The mother was assassinated by extremists Sikh. In her own office, she was assassinated. That's the Nehru family that ruled India. And the other son was killed. Again, that it has been like the Kennedy family in America. It all wiped. The Sri Lanka problem is a big problem that has actually finished most of the leaders on the mainland India. Whoever is in India must control Sri Lanka, because it is also a transit port. And don't forget this, there is a question of transit port for drugs and bangi and so many things. That's why the Chinese are very interested. The Americans are also interested. And they can't give up that way. So what they have done, they have sent in regime change mechanisms, paid workers, paid nurses. It's the same thing they are doing to Zimbabwe, across down here. You can see the nurses in Zimbabwe and the teachers threatening from next week. The other week they say they want now to come on the streets. It flopped, people went to their places and opened. So Zimbabwe is not having a problem today because it doesn't have the money, Miriam. It's because the Americans don't want them to trade in their diamond. And if Zimbabwe sold the diamonds outside and took 10 planes of diamond that is in Zimbabwe, it will make the whole of Africa very rich. They would build the cities. But why do you block a country from trading in a dollar, then block it from selling its diamonds, which are mineral? And we can see now the problem of Sri Lanka is similar to the problem of Zambia accepting an American base around Saga. Something has been planted around the Indian subcontinent. India supported Russia on the war with Ukraine. Pakistan Prime Minister was very adamant. Bangladesh the same. And these are all poor, vulnerable countries that you see lining up in that subcontinent. Afghanistan is on this side, is very poor. The stability of that region seems to be at a very precarious position, and it could cause quite a lot of uncertainty in the region. I don't think we have anything more than that, Miriam, unless there's something else which I've forgotten. I just want to thank you very much. Thank Daniel and you. I delayed to come in because of a few meetings that we are holding. And let's see how things work out tomorrow. We shall start up with the headline of Mr. Lame Duck presidency, or Mr. Lame Duck presidential candidature. It's a candidature that there will be chaos. Not everybody will like him. I think some people are thinking of their actions. He could actually be indicted in the. He could go to jail even if he wins the elections, because the case comes up in September. Somebody will push it for it. Even if they have won election, I am sure this election results will end up in a Supreme Court, Miriam. I don't see them. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you. This has been Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting from the political command center itself. I'm Dr. David Matanga with Miriam Ogutu right now in the CBD home in somewhere in capital city Nairobi. Enjoy your weekend, Miriam. I envy you. I'm still on duty, and from here I have a television show with Africa Central TV, and then I have a show again with Mutembei TV. So my night is not very easy, but I will be able. And then tomorrow I have a show also in the evening with Africa Central, which is focusing on the village square, which they give me 1 hour. So I will be talking about the Kenyan situation and the elections and other things. But see you tomorrow. Thank you very much. And hold the fort for me. I might not be around. Thank you. Bye.